I've always been a big advocate of parents playing video games with their kids. I mean, whenever I was growing up and I got an NES, which was my first system, my parents played the NES with me. I also played games with my siblings and stuff, and all their friends would play games with me. And I liked growing up that way because it was something everybody could gather around and enjoy together. Well, I have tons of memories of stuff like that. I mean, like, endless. I can name off different games, different systems, different years, and I tied different memories I have with those individuals and those games. And to me, that's very important. You know, I'm an avid gamer, a big-time gamer now, you know, all the way in 2014. Full-grown man, you know, now I have my own kid. I'm actually making memories with him of video games and stuff. So that's something you just want to keep on passing it on. But this story in particular, when I had seen it, like, it's one of those things, it's honestly, it's sweet, but it's a tearjerker at the same time. But basically, this one kid had gotten an Xbox back in 2001, like many of us ended up doing. And he ended up playing it with his dad a whole lot. He was 4 years old, so this was more likely like the first game system that he had ever gotten. So he got an original Xbox, and he had played Rally Sport Challenge, so racing game. And not a bad racing game, by the way. But he ended up playing this with his dad a whole lot. And again, just like me with my parents, he has tons of memories of playing that with his dad. His dad, unfortunately, had passed away. And again, like many of us, he had went and got his old systems out to go and play them again. You know, 2014, over 10 years later, he goes and he hooks up his original Xbox and tosses in Rally Sport Challenge, and it turns out that his dad, who passed away, is actually kind of living on through this, because the ghost car of one of the races that his dad had done was actually still in the game. So this kid actually got to race with his dad. That right there was amazing. Like, it brought such a smile to my face whenever I read that. I'm like, that's one of the sweetest things that I've ever read. You know, and a ghost car, if a lot of people aren't familiar with racing games, basically, you know, whenever you go and you do your laps, I'll be like, you know, this particular race has 3 laps in it. And whoever does the fastest lap, they'll become a ghost car. And essentially, it does all the same exact movements, goes the same exact speeds, takes the same exact route. It's, you know, the same exact thing. It basically just records what that person does. And the recording of his dad's race was on there. So he got to race with his dad over 10 years later. And that to me is it's spellbinding. I'm just like, that's so damn cool. You know, that's one of the reasons why I like the advent of technology with things like this. You know, and I know that it sounds kind of silly that I'm talking about, you know, all the advent of technology is something that came out in 2001, but you know what I mean. But he ended up getting a race against it, and the thing is, he stopped right before the finish line, and he allowed the ghost car, his dad's race car, to go right past, so that it doesn't actually overwrite it, because that's the thing, whoever gets the fastest lap, that becomes the ghost car, and that'll go forward. So now this save file on this particular Xbox that him and his dad had gotten to play together while he was growing up, well, he'll forever be able to play against his dad, and I think that's really cool. So definitely hold on to that Xbox. Like, if you ever come across this video and you're seeing it, you know, hold on to that Xbox, hold on to that game, keep all the original stuff, because that's a permanent memory that you can tie in, you know, to your childhood and to your parents. And that's something, you know, that speaks volumes, and that's absolutely amazing. I love stories like this, I really do. Actually, I have one in particular. Out of my entire game collection, out of everything, all this stuff here and over there and there and there, the entire room's filled, but I would keep one thing, and it's that. Copy of Lunar 2. That I would keep above anything else. Everything else could go. That's the one thing I would keep, and that's because my mom, who isn't, like, around anymore, unfortunately, she passed away because of cancer, but that game right there, when that came out on PlayStation 1, I'd wanted that in a Game Boy Color and Pokemon Silver. That's what I wanted that year for Christmas, and that's what I got. She actually went out of her way, like, super early in the morning, as soon as she was able to, when the game had released, went out and picked it up. She waited in line for hours, got into the store and picked it up, because she knew how much I wanted to get that. And all I've done with that, I've taken the game out. I did not open anything else in there. I've kept that thing in absolute gem mint condition because I cared about it so much, because it meant so much to me. And it's one of the best RPGs on the PlayStation 1, which says a lot, but for me, personally, that's like one of the things. Besides my memories of, you know, playing, you know, a ton of NES games with her whenever I was a lot younger. But it's just one of those things that figure, I'd share with everybody out there. But anyhow, if you have any stories at all that you'd like to share, whether it's going to be in comments or if you want to do a video response to this about the story and stuff, then, you should do that, because stuff like this, it's bittersweet, and, it's one of those things, like, it's sad, but it still has a good ending at the end of things. So, anyway, this is AlphaOmegaSin, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers. Game the fuck on.